Hello everyone, welcome to this month's edition of North Central Outdoors. I'm your host, Nathan Karch. Today I want to cover a few different topics. We're going to touch on fishing, some nighttime predator hunting opportunities that are coming this summer, and then a little bit of boating, but first I want to recap our spring turkey season. So it was good, it was productive, but it was tough. Usually that first 2 weeks is usually when people are the most productive, and that's when you have the best opportunity to see a lot of strutting toms out there because they have more strutting area because the vegetation hasn't just densed up yet and everything's not super green. But after that it's just really hard. A lot of people hunt wheat fields, and at that time after those 2 weeks the weed has just gotten too high and the birds don't like to get in it. But especially the eastern wild turkey in general, they are not as vocal as some of the other subspecies, but for whatever reason, Middle Tennessee turkeys, they do not like to really respond once they hit the ground. So they'll be gobbling their heads off on the roost, but once they fly off that roost, they just become silent, and it's really difficult to call. If you do have one respond to you, they're usually on top of you and you can't make a move on them. So it's just hard. But that first couple weeks was really good. After that, it kind of dropped off, the numbers and everything. But I think that's due to probably a lot of rain that we got, and then the vegetation, of course, just really densing up. Looking into the future, I did speak with a biologist, and it doesn't seem like we are going to have that season taken back 2 weeks like it normally was a couple years ago, and that was really productive. But the reason for that is declining turkey populations, and we're trying to bump those numbers up. So that's the reason for the 2 weeks that we kind of prolong that. But hopefully, here in the next couple years, we can bump it back a couple weeks, and the hunting's definitely going to be a lot better. On to spring fishing. So it's really ramping up. Paddlefish season is in right now. That will extend all the way to the end of May. Again, that is 2 paddlefish per person, and there's no culling. Culling is prohibited, which simply means, if you don't know what that is, if you catch your 2 fish, then you cannot trade a third fish for one of the 2 that you already caught. Once you catch your 2, you're done. And then a specific regulation that we want to encourage everybody to do is do not snag within 100 yards of the dam, because that's illegal. It's considered a conservation area. When they are generating or spilling below a dam, they're turning up a lot of sediment and microinvertebrates, and that's what those paddlefish feed on. And so they're stacked up within that 100-yard area, and to basically give them fair chase, you have to snag outside of that 100-yard area. So again, 2 fish, culling is prohibited. Crappie is really biting very well. On Percy Priest and Old Hickory, you're allowed 30 per day, and there's a 10-inch minimum, so be sure that you measure your fish, because we see a lot of undersized fish, but it is a 10-inch minimum. And then your stripe and hybrid bass, you are allowed 2 of those, so any combination, just 1 stripe, 1 hybrid, 2 hybrid, or 2 stripe, it doesn't matter, but there's a 15-inch minimum. And be sure that you can identify those, because a lot of people will get confused with white bass, and white bass has a much higher creel limit than the hybrid and stripe. So if you're thinking maybe you caught a white bass, but it's actually a hybrid, you need to make sure there's a different way that you can identify those. One will have 1 tooth patch, and the other one will have 2 tooth patches. So you can look online and really see how to identify those, but it's very important just due to those creel limits. On into summer boating. There's a couple things that I want to shed some light on. Is our requirements, what we are looking for. That's probably our most common question that we get out on the waterways, like, hey, what exactly are you looking for? Because I'm hearing a lot of different information between state requirements versus the U.S. Coast Guard, and I just want to iron that out. So first and foremost, life jackets. Always make sure that you have enough personal flotation devices on board that is U.S. Coast Guard approved, that it will suffice for everybody on board. If you plan on picking people up from a certain area, make sure you have enough to cover them as well, and that it fits. You know, those generic orange horse collars that you can get at any sporting goods store, they're good. They're U.S. Coast Guard approved, and usually there's 4 in a pack, and so just stack them under the seats, make sure that they're readily available in an emergency situation, but you know for a fact those are U.S. Coast Guard approved. Now, they might not be the most comfortable things in the world, so if you're on the water a lot, I encourage you to have everybody just pick out a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket that's gonna fit them, they're gonna be comfortable in, and encourage them to wear them while they're on the water, because it will save your life. Second, make sure that you have a fire extinguisher or some sort of fire suppression system. If you have an enclosed gas tank, you are required to have some sort of fire suppression system, whether it be a fire extinguisher or a halon system. It doesn't matter. Your boat needs to be equipped with something like that. And I encourage you to carry 2 fire extinguishers, because one might not be working or one might go out and you might need that second one. If you have a portable gas tank or a non-enclosed gas tank like you see on many of these John boats, that just basically has their fuel hose attached to that tank, and you can interchange them out. You're not required to, but it is encouraged. Second, if your vessel is 16 feet or greater in length, that you are required to have a Type 4 throwable device, which is essentially just a square throw cushion that's got handles on both sides. Just in case of an emergency situation, you need to toss that thing out to somebody that's struggling to stay afloat. You can do that. If you've ever tried to toss somebody a life jacket, there's a lot of wind resistance there, and they don't travel very well. But with this throw cushion, you can really just toss it out kind of like a Frisbee and get it to somebody in a hurry. The other ones that most people are familiar with are the ring buoys, and they have handles as well. You'll see those oftentimes at public swimming pools. Those are sufficient as well. Those are considered a Type 4 throwable. Also, if you plan on being out after sunset, make sure that your navigation lights are working. That means your red and greens on the stern, and then, on the bow, and then on the stern, make sure you have your 360-degree visible all-around white light. It's very important that that white light is completely seen from 360 degrees. It's got to be the tallest point of your vessel. A lot of times we see bimini tops and wakeboard racks. Those are very restrictive in seeing those from certain angles. So we want to make sure that you do have that white light visible from 360 degrees, because that's the only thing that's really making you visible out on the water on a moonless night or something like that. We want to make sure that people know your orientation in the water, that if we contact you, we know your orientation in the water. It's kind of the rules of the road, just like, our brake lights on our vehicles, they're red. That way we know we're approaching somebody from behind. If we see, those white headlights, we know it's from the front. It's same kind of, thing going on the waterways. So make sure the only things illuminated after sunset is your red and greens, and then your all-around white light. A sound signaling device is encouraged but not required. That's one of the U.S. Coast Guard required objects, but we don't require it. If you want to do a whistle or a flare gun or anything like that, or an air horn, that's fine, but we do not require it. Lastly, a little bit of change with the boating education law. So an emergency ruling was just passed requiring anybody born after 1989, January 1st, 1989, they do not have to have a proctored exam anymore, meaning you don't have to go to a library or seek out TWRA officers to put on a class and it be an in-person class and monitored for that exam. You can do it exclusively online now, just like hunter education. So you can save your progress as you go, take the exam, and it's a one and done thing. But it is required by law, anybody born January 1st of 1989 and on, you have to have this. So I encourage you to seek that out. If you don't have it, the requirements are much easier now. You can just study as you go, and honestly, you can have that study guide in front of you while you're taking the test. Another thing with summer coming, Some more outdoor activities and opportunities is nighttime predator hunting. So we got a little taste of that after deer season, but now starting June 7th all the way to August 10th, you'll have an opportunity to hunt coyotes at night. It's private lands only and it's shotgun only. It cannot be any single projectile. It's got to be shot, so your turkey loads or your duck loads, those will suffice, but it cannot be a single projectile. You can use any type of night vision, thermals, you name it, but again, private lands only, shotgun only, single projectile. There's no limit on coyotes, but during that hunt, you are allowed one bobcat per night. So that's kind of cool that we're doing that. But again, those days, June 7th to August 10th. And finally, a couple things coming down the pipe. We are increasing our license fees by, I believe it's 28%, so almost 30%, due to a number of reasons, inflation and all that. But I think they are going to be greatly simplified. So there's going to be a whole new licensing structure. I don't even know what that looks like yet. I'm about to get briefed at headquarters, I think, in this coming week. But from what I've been hearing, it's going to simplify things to where all these supplemental licenses that are so confusing, it's going to just consolidate that. So yes, they are increasing, but I think it's going to be easier and there's not going to be as much gray area. So that's nice. If you have a license that's going to potentially run out before July 1, I encourage you to go ahead and grab that, because those license increases are not going to be seen until after July 1. Also, a couple things that, love it or hate it, baiting has passed the legislature. So that means for deer specifically, that doesn't include turkey or waterfowl or anything like that, but for deer, it has passed the legislature. So we're looking to see that in our 26-27 season. It will not be in effect this season, but it's coming. The commission still has to establish regulations regarding baiting and big game, but it's coming. It's passed the legislature. Also, deer drone recovery. A lot of people wanted to utilize drones to recovered expired deer or locate wounded deer. That has passed as well, but we're going to have to establish some strict regulations regarding that. That way it ensures private landowners, their privacy, and we don't want to violate anything there, but we want to ensure that also those hunters can retrieve their game and ethically as possible, and that way that meat does not go to waste as well. So be looking for those in our 26-27 season. And again, we've still got a ways off for that, and we've got to establish some regulations regarding both of those. But a lot of new things coming down the pipe. I just encourage everyone to get outdoors, whether it's boating, fishing, predator hunting, you name it. I hope to see you out there. It's a great stress relief, and it's just awesome being out in God's creation. So be safe, and we'll see you next time.